Hey guys, welcome back to whatever this is. So for today, we're going to talk about a game that just got a physical announcement the other day. Limited Run did their presentation the other day, this week, and they announced the Grandia HD collection, which is Grandia 1 and 2, which are two of my favorite games. I'm very excited about it, as you can see from this clip. The absolute mad lads at Limited Run Games give me a physical copy of Grandia 1 and 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Woo! I'm excited! Very exciting times for me. So, in honor of that, I wanted to talk about Grandia. So I never played it when it initially came out. When Grandia 2, which is this one right here, which is the original copy I ended up buying, as I was graduating high school, I discovered that the Dreamcast could actually just play burnt games. So I was mucking around with it, and I ended up hearing everyone being like, oh, play this game, Grandia. So I was like, alright, cool, throw it in. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was hooked on this game until I beat it, and I beat it, I think, in about a week or so. There were times that I found were a little draggy, but like I love this game in particular. Super fun combat, everything's on its toes, you're constantly bouncing around and moving around the screen, as there's another bar at the bottom from when you give the action to when you actually can initiate your attack. It is fantastic gameplay. The graphics are good, especially for a Dreamcast game, considering this was, I believe, going up against some of the early PS2 heavy hitter RPGs, which would include Final Fantasy X. Like, I could see why at the time I ignored it, and I'm glad I ended up finding it a few years after. And I even was such a big fan that when I was at a swap meet a few years ago, I actually got lucky, and I ended up finding the strategy guide for this game. And I'm also lucky because it's in really good condition, and it even actually has the poster. I kind of want to take it out, but I also don't want to take it out. That's one thing I got lucky with a lot of swap meets, is this is how I ended up kind of collecting a lot of strategy guides. But this game is gorgeous. I actually ordered this one. I was lucky. Ordered off eBay. And it was funny because whoever sold it, I remember distinctly that they only sent me the inserts and the discs. They didn't actually send me the plastic. It was kind of weird. It might have been how the person stored it, but I ended up buying it super cheap on eBay. And this is before eBay went all crazy. And I got very lucky and got a very nice, clean copy of this game. And that has been the one I'm going to hold on to forever, as far as I'm concerned, or until this disc decides to spontaneously explode. Now, when it comes to Grandia 1, I never picked it up. I didn't pick it up till years later when I was watching the Happy Console Gamer. He and his buddy Rob were talking about Grandia 1. And this is when I picked up this one. I liked it a lot. More of the same combat. Like, they didn't even need to change that much because the combat in these games is that excellent. That slow, maniacal plotting and where your characters are moving, I found, is really good. And the story was really good. I love the tale of Justin. He's a great character. Lena's a fantastic, co-star to the game with him. It's such a story about being a child and then growing up and becoming an adventurer as they get older. And I always liked its prologue as it actually showed them older. You didn't see what they looked like, but you knew they had grown up. And I always kind of really appreciated that, and realizing now how few games will actually take that initiative and kind of give you that growth of the character post-story. This one, as many people may not know or do know, it was a Sega Saturn title initially that ended up getting ported to the PlayStation. Now, if you are into the Saturn community with translations, they have actually... I'm not sure if it's finished at the time of this recording, but I do know Disc 1 is complete, and they're just finishing up Disc 2 on the fan translation. And that would be the version to play for sure. But if you haven't checked out Grandia, I would recommend checking it out. And with this game, I always remembered running to a flea market once I saw that video, and I decided to start looking for Grandia 1. And when I actually found it, I was at a local flea market to me. I took it over to my friend's house because I was going to go hang out with him for the day. And we set it up, and his girlfriend was sitting on the bed as I put it in. And you get to hear that wonderful, terrible dialogue of that only, late 90s translations can bring you.
Oh, Justin, not you again. You just don't learn trashing my shed again.
I didn't trash it. Why won't you listen to me? I'm staking my pride as a man and my soul as an adventurer on this treasure hunt.
Oh, she hated it. She couldn't stand how bad and slow the delivery was, and all of us are just busting a gut laughing at just the delivery and how bad it is. But to me, that's what makes this game even better, is I have always been a fan of that terrible dialogue just for the amusement, even if the lines are perfectly fine. But it's just, the delivery is just the worst. Blessed be those days with games. They don't do it, because the second game actually had a really nice translation. It's not the best by today's standard, but even now, it's still, you know, it's okay. It does the job. It would be cool if they go back and do it, because I know there's, like, especially the person who does the main character, Ryudo. He ends up being he's still a voice actor. He's been on lots of stuff, so I could see him even coming back and doing it, but they probably never will. But that would be super awesome. Man can dream, can he? Now, when it comes to the two games, I always enjoyed the second one more than the first one. Where this one was like a coming-of-age story, which was really well done. I always liked 2s because it was I always felt it was a more mature story than the first one, where the second one is more of like kind of stuff I feel like a lot of people deal with as they're growing up. So the main character, Ryudo, is just, you know, he's a freelancer. He's just a mercenary making his money. They call them geohounds, but nobody gives him any respect because nobody cares about, you know, geohounds. He ends up getting a job with the church, and the church is all about order, and then he's introduced to another character, another character named Millennia, who ends up representing sort of freedom choice. So it's order and freedom is kind of its constant ideal throughout the game, and then, you know, what's right, wrong, what needs to be done. I always kind of like that. I'm always enjoy more of a gray story, and I always really like the one in Grandia. So, as I said at the beginning, this game is actually getting a physical release on August 7th by Limited Run Games for the Nintendo Switch. Me being a massive Switch fan, I would strongly recommend getting it, as this game, both of these games are definitely worth your time. I have wonderful memories with them, and they're truly treasured games that more people, I wish, had time to experience. So, alright guys, that's where I guess we're leaving it today. Take care. Have a good one.